Welcome back to another Eshop sales roundup. If you're looking for genuinely cozy experiences without spending much at all, this latest Nintendo Eshop sale is ace. If you aren't interested in cozy or relaxing games, my apologies, but there were so many in the sale that I decided to dedicate a whole video to them. Not all of them are cute and cheerful in nature, but they serve the purpose of provoking thoughtful conversation or just being relaxing. So, let's see what cozy experiences the Eshop has to offer this week. Let's begin with something deliberately offbeat and curiosity driven. Penko Park is the brilliant indie exploration game that delivers that Pokemon Snap experience the Switch arguably missed. You're dropped into an abandoned wildlife park to catalogue strange, fictional animals using a disposable camera. While it's slightly creepier than Snap, it's a deeply satisfying, cozy experience with no combat or failure. The progress is driven through photography, better shots and experience to unlock entertaining tools. You get a grappling hook to grab collectibles, a ball to throw that provokes creatures into new and sometimes rare poses, and ghost vision that lets you capture new creatures in the ghost realm. The muted and slightly unsettling art style might not be for everyone, but it's a playful little gem. And a game you have to play to really appreciate the small details. Penko Park is available for the £3.14 or your country's equivalent, a 75% discount until February the 12th in the UK and Europe and the 13th in North America. So act fast on this one. And up next is Paper Trail, a puzzle adventure game built entirely around origami folding mechanics. It's a beautiful watercolour world where gameplay revolves around creating new paths and solving puzzles through folding the page, with the hand-drawn graphics responding dynamically to all of your movements. It's a pretty unique game in the sense that a lot of the puzzles are more about spatial awareness as opposed to logic heavy. But it really is engaging, experimenting with folding different sections of the screens, creating new paths and connections. As with most of these games, there are no real time limits or ways to game over. It's just a relaxing, engaging 6-hour adventure that really is unique and definitely worth your time. Paper Trail is currently £1.68 or the price shown on screen, and is 90% off until February the 26th in the UK and Europe and the 27th in North America. And a more story-driven game is Stillness in the Wind, a slow-paced narrative farming game focused on isolation and daily routine. You play as an elderly woman tending goats, making cheese, growing crops, and maintaining a small desert homestead, while letters from family gradually reveal an evolving story. It is definitely a more somber experience, maybe not what you would consider cozy, but it stirs emotions, and it just puts you in a mindset to relax and enjoy the story as it unfolds. The gameplay is quiet and repetitive, and really reinforces the theme of solitude. Much of the experience really does centre on reflection, and it is all accompanied by a muted colour palette, subtle soundtrack, and sparse dialogue. It's a really contemplative experience. I'm sure that doesn't sound relaxing to everyone, but for me, it really resonated with my personality. It's quite rare for a game to invoke that self-reflection. I did find it quite a powerful experience. The Stillness of the Wind is currently £1.49 or the price displayed on the graphic, and is 85% off until February the 24th in the UK and Europe and the 28th in North America. This next one is a bright narrative-led adventure. Yono and the Celestial Elephants is a top-down adventure game that blends light puzzle solving with a cute storybook fantasy. You play as Yono, a celestial being tasked with aiding communities across a world that is peaceful on the surface but strained underneath. The gameplay is a smooth mix of exploration and environmental puzzles. Most of the logic revolves around using Yono's trunk to manipulate the world, spraying water, blowing air, or headbutting obstacles. It's simple for sure, but it works. The visuals are clean and colourful, and it has an annoyingly catchy soundtrack. The narrative themes don't quite match the visuals, they can be quite complex at times, but it's not a mechanically complex or challenging game. It's simple, cozy, and jaunty, and is currently £3.59 or your region's equivalent, an 80% discount until February the 18th in the UK and Europe, and the 19th in North America. And another game that is much more of an emotional journey than traditional cozy games are, The Last Day of June, a game that has you relive the final moments leading up to a fatal car accident, jumping into the perspectives of different characters to alter their decisions. The goal is simple, but heartbreaking. Change the past to save the person you love. It's a melancholic experience that uses character swapping mechanics to unlock new paths through the timeline. And while it's simple, it's really effective in driving the narrative. It's a short, powerful, 3-hour journey that isn't complex or mechanical, but it really is pretty heavy and definitely requires a specific mood to jump into. I definitely recommend trying to complete it in one sitting. It really will enhance the emotive side of it. The Last Day of June is currently £3.99 or your regional price and is 75% off until February the 19th in the UK and Europe and the 20th in North America. For me, this next one was a little special. Gone Home is a first-person narrative exploration game that gets a bad rap as a walking simulator, but it is so much more. The story has you returning to an empty family home, trying to piece together the story by examining objects, notes, and environmental clues. The entire game is built entirely around observation and interpretation. The storytelling is intimate and personal, unfolding gradually as rooms are explored and the details are revealed. I couldn't even tell you why I loved it so much, but the quiet atmosphere and grounded tone really hit home with me. It's fully interactive and definitely one of the more immersive narrative games I've played. It's all contained in one setting, so it isn't for everyone, but I really do recommend it for anyone remotely interested in the genre or just after a new experience. It's currently £2.39 or your equivalent price and is on sale in the UK, Europe and Australia until March 2nd. I'm sure most of you have heard of this one before, and it's a gem. Cozy Grove is a simple life sim similar to the likes of Animal Crossing. The game is set on a haunted island inhabited by friendly spirit bears, and your main goal is to help them come to peace with their past and move on to the afterlife. It's quite a somber but real experience, and it works. The deeper, darker themes are offset by the art style in the soundtrack, and it's accompanied by your usual tasks of gathering resources, crafting items, fishing, decorating, and completing daily tasks. As I said, it's deeper than usual, but I just love the fact that every bear had their own unique story and reason for not wanting to pass on yet, each of which was surprisingly deep and bittersweet. Despite its tone, it's definitely a charming and satisfying playthrough. It's for sure emotional, but that's not a bad thing, and it really is a delight to play through. Cozy Grove is currently £5.32 or your country's equivalent and is 52% off until February the 23rd in the UK, Europe and Australia only. This next one is definitely a little slept on, but after a rough launch, the issues have been fixed and it's a great little game. Potion Permit is a top-down life sim with crafting and light but entertaining combat. You play as a chemist sent to a small town to treat the townsfolk's ailments, doing so by gathering ingredients, brewing medicine, and restoring trust in a small community after a past disaster spearheads their hatred for modern medicine. The core loop blends exploration, resource gathering, and relationship building. The combat sections are simple but add structure between crafting segments, and while challenging at first, you get used to it. I had a great time playing this, but I wouldn't go into it expecting Stardew, but definitely give it a go if it's on your radar. The complete edition is also currently on sale for almost double the price, but I would recommend against buying this, as all it adds are 30 odd decorations for your home. It mentions DLC, but that is all free anyway, so just stick to the normal cheaper version. Potion Permit is currently £5.94 or your regional equivalent, and is 65% off until February the 22nd in the UK and Europe and the 23rd in North America. Up next is Knights and Bikes, a co-op focused narrative adventure inspired by 80s childhood imagination, and it is so good. It definitely has Goonies vibes to it. You play as two girls exploring a fictional island, turning everyday environments into fantasy quests. You've got your general light puzzle solving, simple combat, and environmental exploration, and whilst it is a co-op game, it can be played solo with AI, but I would definitely recommend playing local co-op for a more dynamic experience. Its hand-drawn art style and playful tone keep the mood upbeat while still grounding the characters emotionally, and despite its silly demeanour, it can still hit those feels at times. It's a brilliant friendship-driven adventure with cosy charm and optional and experience-enhancing co-op. Knights and Bikes is currently £9.89, or the price displayed on the graphic, and is 50% off until February the 22nd in the UK and Europe, and the 23rd in North America. And the 10th game on this list is Grow: Song of the Evertree, a high fantasy world-building life sim that just about has a little bit of everything. You play as the last of the Everheart alchemists with the goal of restoring the legendary Evertree. You plant seeds, gather materials, craft buildings, and help the residents settle into their new towns. All the usual life sim activities, just with a little more magic. But there really is a surprising amount of depth to it. You use alchemy to craft world seeds, which you plant in the tree's branches to grow entirely new, procedurally generated mini-worlds. And whilst you tend to these gardens, you also manage the town upon the base of the Evertree. And it's another one of those games that just has a Studio Ghibli feel to it, that carefree adventure. You are looking at about 40 hours of gameplay, and you will always have something to do. The performance is a little bit sketchy on the Switch 1 with the frame rate, but it is significantly better on Switch 2. Grow: Song of the Evertree is currently £5.99, or the price shown on screen, and is 70% off until February the 19th in the UK and Europe, and the 20th in North America. This next one is a fantastic shop and life sim focused on running a small town discount store. You stock shelves, set prices, manage customers, and gradually expand operations in Discounty. The gameplay centres on organisation and efficiency, blending shopkeeping mechanics with light narrative elements and character interactions. The story is light, but the gameplay is engaging, and I love this game. Unfortunately, you can complete it in about 12 hours, but that's only a disappointment because I enjoyed it so much. It had been a while since I had played a decent shop sim, probably since the first Moonlighter released. It's a very structured game, but it nails the pacing, and I didn't once get bored of the shop management side. The story could do with a bit more fleshing out, but I highly recommend the game. Discounty is currently £11.89, or your region's listed price, and is 30% off until February the 22nd in the UK and Europe, and the 23rd in North America. Mika and the Witch's Mountain is an exploration adventure, where you deliver packages by broomstick across a colourful island. Obviously, the core focus of the game is the movement and traversal of the land, where it heavily builds around glide control and environmental awareness. The tone and story are light and whimsical, with soft music and vibrant scenery, and while the gameplay is quite shallow in regards to picking up quests and delivering items, it is still enjoyable to explore each area and build towards upgrading your broom. They have definitely gone for Kiki's delivery service vibes, but that isn't a bad thing. It's just an enjoyable and relaxing game because of its carefree game state. There really aren't any overarching goals or stress. It's just chilling out on your broom, exploring, and making deliveries. It's hard to explain, but it just captures that carefree and adventurous spirit of Studio Ghibli. I was a bit judgmental at first, but this has definitely surprised me. Mika and the Witch's Mountain is currently $9.99 US, or $12.49 Canadian, and is 50% off in North America only until March the 2nd. And the penultimate game is Loddlenaut, an underwater cleanup and creature care simulation, all about environmental restoration. It sounds, looks, and is as straightforward as that, but it is brilliant for people of any age. I can attest for this as a 34-year-old man. You remove pollution, recycle debris, and nurture small aquatic creatures called Loddles. Its bright and unassuming underwater environments and calming soundtrack really hit the nail on the head. It's beautifully simple and annoyingly charming. It's a very short game, roughly 3 to 4 hours, but it's great and definitely a game you can play with your kids, and it doubles up as a pseudo-educational experience for them. There's not too much more to say about it, but I definitely recommend picking it up if you are remotely interested. Loddlenaut is currently £5.43, or your country's equivalent, and is on sale until February the 22nd in the UK and Europe, and the 23rd in North America. And today's final game is Slime Rancher the Portable Edition, an odd mix of exploration and livestock management, and it miraculously pulls it off as one of the more addictive games I've played on the Switch. This is a first-person farming and creature collection game where you capture colourful slimes, feed them, and harvest resources. You've got light management, exploration, and base building, all of the staples. And while you do have to occasionally deal with hostile slimes, the overall tone remains bright, playful, and charming. You can complete the main story in about 15 hours, but believe me, if you play that long, you won't be putting it down for much longer. Slime Rancher Portable Edition is currently £4.87 or your regional equivalent, and is 75% off until March 1st in the UK and Europe, and the 2nd in North America. And that's it for this week. A little different, just focusing on these types of games. But I was making a list and so many of the cozy games appeared, I just decided to go the whole hog with it. Let me know in the comments if you plan on grabbing any, or if I missed any bangers, because I always will. And be sure to like and subscribe if you found it useful. I just want to help out. As I mentioned earlier, not all of these are happy and cheerful experiences, but they all serve one purpose or another, whether that's an emotional journey or just a short happy adventure. But with that said, thanks for watching, stay cozy, and yeah, I'll see you around.